Right, good evening everybody and welcome to the HGSA. We've got another Zoom call tonight. Joining us tonight we've got the coach and the captain of the women's team. So we've got Ryan and Bethan. Good evening both of you.
Good evening.
Right, first things first, how are you both?
I'm good.
Yeah, all good, thank you. Yeah, we're all good.
All recovered from your injuries, Bethan?
Good to say so, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Right, if I can just ask you to do a quick introduction, so just about your work and your life and your career and everything. If you want to go first, Bethan.
Yeah, so I'm Bethan. I'm captain of the Huddersfield Giants Women's squad. I work full-time for Kirklees Active Leisure. I'm a manager for the swimming department.
Okay, Ryan.
I'm Ryan White. I'm the head coach of the women's team. I work for the Huddersfield Giants Community Trust. I work in schools, developing rugby in the community and trying to build a pathway into the men's game and trying to focus on the women, get them into our first team as well.
Right, okay. And you've both been with the Giants since, is it January 2020?
I became head coach in February 2020. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Has been played last year. No, sorry, 2019, didn't you, Bethan?
Right. And how did you come to be the coach? How did that come about for you?
It was working for the community trust. To be fair, I actually put my hand up to or volunteered to be the assistant coach at the time, under the head coach who was there, who led the team in the championship. When we got the promotion into the Super League, there was an opportunity what came up for me to become head coach, and to be fair, I grabbed it with two hands and took on the challenge. So yeah, that's how I fell into it really. If I wasn't working for the community trust at the time, I wouldn't have probably got it, to be fair.
Yeah, and I presume you're enjoying it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah. Yeah.
Great, excellent. Bethan, how did you come to be at the Giants? Because you played for a couple of clubs previously, haven't you?
Yeah, so I played for Thornhill, and then I moved. I actually quit, so I stopped playing so I could coach under 14 girls at Thornhill. And then I saw advertisement for trials at Huddersfield, and I said I'm going to give it one last shot, and if I get in, then I'll carry on. If I don't, that was my last straw, so I was going to quit. Luckily, I got in, and I am where I am now.
Excellent. And you played for Yorkshire as well, so it's all worthwhile in the end.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Right, so if I can just ask you, how is the team funded and how is it organised and everything like that? I know you linked up with the community trust, aren't you?
Yeah, so it's all run from the community trust, to be fair. So everything comes from there. So we have sponsorships. So we have shirt sponsors. We have social media sponsors. I think they're Purple Dog. We have a main sponsor, what is St Andrews Motors. But it is all funded from the community trust, to be fair. That's where it all comes from.
So if anybody wanted to sponsor you, could they do that through the community trust or?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we've had quite a few of our social media becoming so active at the moment, and we've all getting the good stuff out there. We've had a couple of interest, just people messaging and saying we'd like to be involved, we would like to sponsor, we'd like to get the name on the shirts or something like that. So yeah, we just, I think Lisa, she's the one who sorts out all the sponsorships. So Lisa might be able to tell you a little bit more regarding the sponsorship.
Yeah, chip in if you want, Lisa, by all means.
No, I think it's really interesting for me to sort of hear Ryan and Bethan's story, but I think from moving over from Huddersfield Town to Huddersfield Giants and becoming the CEO, my main priority was to give the same opportunities to women than what men had. So my first aim was to get women in delivering rugby in coaching, but then obviously to set up a women's team. For me, we had to find the right person to start it off, because you need somebody who's passionate. And working with women, I'm sure Ryan would never say this, but I'm sure it's a battle. Working with men, I find is so much easier. But I think we just needed the right person, and as soon as that happened, I knew we were on for a really good sort of run-in. I had to juggle some money around and make money available from different departments. So within the zone, we have a business arm. So my priority was to put 15 grand away so that we could support the women's team, because there's no money in it at all at championship level. And now it's very, very tight, but I sort of pinch and borrow from different departments, and eventually we will pay it back in some way, because I do believe that in the next year to come, it's going to be so big that I do think that people will get paid to play. And I think we'll be given the money from the RFL to support our staff, so they're not all volunteers. Ryan does a fantastic job. He's so passionate about making a difference, and the time that he's put into the girls over COVID, making sure everybody's all right mentally as well as physically. I'm really proud of him. He's done a fantastic job, and thank you for letting me just sort of say my little bit, because I am passionate about the girls, and I'm sure we're going to go big places.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's no problem, Lisa. Ryan, if I can just come on to you. Looking at player pathways, what sort of pathways is there for people? So like the girls from the community clubs and everything, what sort of pathway do they have to be scouted, or can they sort of apply to become part of the team?
So we have myself, obviously, as like I said before, I work for the Community Trust working in schools under the RFL Sky Tri programme. That is going into junior schools and high schools and delivering rugby league in their PE lessons. So we see and follow girls there as well. Myself, we also have James Westerby, who's the head of women and girls, who also works at the Community Trust. He does a similar sort of role as well, for part of his role regarding managing the women's team and looking at girls and developing rugby there. So that's that's like the lower level. Then we have as an ETP pathway, what we have in like the school holidays, where we have days where the girls will come, show off the talent, and obviously myself and James, and I think Bethan's been on a couple of them as well. So like, I guess from the team, and we look and watch girls and see if we can spot anyone who's good. So that's one side. And then as well, we have a very good relationship with the community clubs as well, where we have good links with them to see if there's any girls coming through the community clubs. I went up to Elland I think just before COVID, and did an induction up there, and I saw Amelia Brown, who signed for us and who scored on Sunday. She was the winger, so that was a really good pickup and a signing. And if it wasn't for myself, and it was actually Dan, who's the head of sport, went up there on that day to that open day for Elland, we would have never seen that girl. And so it's all them bits put together. That's how we pick up our girls, and how we build and develop it through.
Yeah. So I mean, there is the pathway there, isn't it? If
Definitely.
if they've got the attitude and everything like that.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, Bethan, could I just ask you about the training? Like you train twice a week, do you?
We do train twice a week with the club, but obviously at the standard that we're playing at, needs a lot more than 2 days a week. So personally, I do 6 days, including 2 training sessions with the Giants and game day. So I do 3 of my own sessions in my own time out of training as well.
Right, and do you have a programme of training to follow? Does Ryan and the other coaches set your training sessions?
So for me, I've got my own plan. So it's what specifically you need to work on. So whether it's weight gain, weight loss, speed, power, strength. We've got physios, and we've got people at the Giants that we can email and ask, and they can put a plan together for us. But personally, I just do it off my own back.
Right, which takes me on to my next part, is the relationship with the club. I was going to ask you, is there a relationship with the club, even though you're independent of the club? Do the club coaches, physios and conditioners, everything help you out, or are you just sort of left to your own devices?
No, they help us out massively, especially like with the game on Sunday. Obviously, a few of us have picked up quite a few knocks. The coaches are obviously asking if we're okay. We're reporting it to the physio. The physios are then checking us out on training sessions to make sure we've got the right habilitation, and we're looking after ourselves before, during, and after the game as well.
Excellent. Ryan, do you have any input at all with the coaches at the club? Do you have sessions with them?
So is it just regarding the first team, the men at the club, or regarding just generally?
Well, just generally in terms of your role with the women's.
Yeah, so my role regarding with the men, we do have we always know they're there to ask questions and to help, and they're always there willing to help us. We've had a few questions regarding, like Bethan says, regarding injuries and physios and things like that. Well, we've managed to get the resources through the men's team, what's been really good. So yeah, we used their gym before the COVID. So we used to use the first team gym on a Tuesday night, but with the COVID restrictions at the moment, obviously that's not possible. Equipment and things like that, we can always ask for that. And so, as a starting off as a ladies team or a women's team, we really relied on quite a lot of their support, to be honest, to help us set everything up, and I think that's what to progress and go the way the RFL would like the ladies team to go, where it's going in the future. I think they've got to be a good strong link with the men's side of things and the women's side of things, because I don't think the RFL have got quite high expectations of everything, and like Bethan related to that, we are all volunteers, and we have as day jobs, and it's quite challenging to meet their expectations at times. Like Bethan says, she's training twice with us. One game day, she's then doing her own fitness as well as a full-time job as well. So it is challenging, and with having them on board, it is nice to know that we are looked after, sort of thing.
Yeah, so you do get some support then, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so going to Sunday's game, for those people who aren't aware, that you played in the Challenge Cup at Warrington, you lost by 38 points to 12.
Yep.
The first 20 minutes weren't very good, were they? You're 22-0 down before you could even get organised.
Yeah, it was tough. Well, to be fair, I've watched it back 3 or 4 times now since Sunday, and I thought we competed for the first 10 minutes. I think it was 6-0 up to about 12 minutes, and then we had a patch halfway through the first half where I think the fatigue got to us. I think the nerves got to us. The occasion, we did drop a lot of ball, little core skill errors. What I think was nerves, and I think it was fatigue. But then we managed to get a try just before half time, and we came in at half time, and we all stood around and we were really positive, thinking this game hasn't gone anywhere. We're still in this game. And we came out the second half, and I thought we challenged really well, and then it just became a little bit of an arm wrestle then, to be honest. But I don't know. I said, Bethan, we're on the field. How do you think, Bethan?
Yeah, I'm just sorry, Bethan. I was just going to ask you about your try, because you scored like a minute or two before half time, didn't you? Just to get yourselves on scoreboard, and you were all obviously very delighted with that. How did that change what happened in the first sort of 20 minutes of the second half? Because you came out and you looked like a completely different team.
I think it was just a little bit like, oh, right, okay, we've just been smashed for 35, 36 minutes, but we've still got a chance, like Ryan said. We come to the second half and we did look like a completely different team, and we competed until the last 15 minutes of the game. But I think when I scored for the girls, it was a bit of a relief that, oh, we have got over, right, it's half time, we've got a break and we're going to go again. And I think it just made it a little bit more positive, because like on the field, body language and things like that, we were all a little bit fed up of letting all these tries in and having to defend a lot and dropping the ball, making mistakes. So I think scoring that try, and then Amelia scoring that try as well, I thought that boosted us up a lot through the first 20 minutes of the second half. Yeah,
because like Ryan said, you did compete for most of it, didn't you? Or just like you sort of line defence that let you down a little bit, I thought. But you were competing, weren't you? I mean, what do you say when you concede that many points and you stood behind your post again and the line up the kick as a captain? What do you say to them, or what can you try and say to them?
Yeah, it's quite difficult because you're frustrated within yourself. That obviously you've got so many points against you. So you've got to keep your cool and try and keep positive for the other girls so they don't let their heads down. So for me, I just said to them, girls, all we need to do now is not let any more points in. Let's just get up, let's defend, let's work hard and keep the score as low as possible. And I think we did that. I don't think the score was as bad as it looks. If you watch the game back, we did compete. So the scoreline does not reflect the game at all. But it was just a case of let's go again. Let's work hard for each other. Let's talk to each other. Give each other a pat on the back if something goes wrong. Give each other a pat on the back when something goes right.
Yeah, and as coach, Ryan, how did Bethan's try change what you want to say to them at half time? Because you'd be expecting going 22-0 down and suddenly they're on the scoreboard, they've got a bit of belief. What happens there at half time from a coach's perspective?
To be honest, I nearly didn't get down to touchline because I was walking down the steps from the stand, and when she scored, I nearly fell down the full steps. So I was cheering while jumping down the steps. To be fair, I didn't make it to a half time myself. But no, do you know what? As well, I think we went into half time with a little bit of belief that we can score a try in Super League, and that I think the nerves sort of went a little bit. So I think the team talks, the halftime team talk sort of changed a little bit regarding it was always going to have to, we have to stay positive. We have to stay in this game. We are good enough to be here. We'll carry on battling as long as we can. It was more about the nerves and just settling down into the game. We've played half a game in Super League now. We just need to settle down and do what we've been doing in training. With Bethan's try going over, we sort of believed in ourselves a little bit. And then we came out the second half and Amelia went over pretty much straight after. And that sort of plays is exactly what we've been working on. Frankie was unlucky to go under the post as well with a little short kick. Yeah. So I think that was a big game change. If that had gone over there, I think the game would have changed massively, to be honest. And I think Amelia had another one just shortly after that as well. There were two big chances after the Amelia try. What could have just swung the game, but unfortunately it didn't go our way. So it was.
Yeah, I mean the effort was there. Everybody commented what a brilliant effort it was. I mean, I said myself straight after the game, your effort was fantastic. It was just those first 20 minutes, wasn't it? That just absolutely annihilated them, really. But I mean, to get back, to within 10 points at one point, it just shows there is something there, isn't there, to work on.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said there, we was in with a try, 2 tries behind, and we missed a few chances. It wasn't like we wasn't creating any chances. If we wasn't creating any chances, there'd have been a little bit more of a worry there. But we were creating chances to go over. But yeah, we always kept saying we'll believe that we're good enough to be here, and we just keep doing as we're doing, and it will come, and it might come next week. It might come in 6 games' time. It might come in 1 year's time. But if we just stick to the process and the structure we've got in place, as Bethan probably will talk about, we will. I strongly believe that we'll get where we need to get to. It's just a massive development and progression, building blocks, really.
Yeah. So your first Super League season, is it likely to be a case of development, or are you looking at competing and you're looking at, you trying to get up as far as you can, or is it just a case of let's just developing and get some game time? And
main thing for me, to be honest, as a coach, is the development side of it. The development. These girls are, some of them are 16-year-old. Like I said, some of them have come straight out of the community clubs. We've got a handful of experienced girls in there, but 70% of our squad is a young team. And it's about developing them girls, and the results will come. But I'm confident they will come, but I'm not really worried about the results as such. I'm more worried about us progressing as a team into this season, into next season, and into the season after. And I think we look back on Castleford Tigers women's team. I think Bethan, was it 2016? I think they started.
Yeah, I think it
2016.
was.
They didn't win a Super League game all season, and they're now one of the biggest team, if not the biggest team in Super League women at the moment. And they started exactly where we are. So it's just a progression. And as long as I've always said what my famous words to the girls is, small progression is progression. It don't matter if it's small or if it's big.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so it's St Helens on Sunday, is it?
Yes.
Another big test. Bethan, are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Are
It's
they-
gonna
well,
be tough, but
sorry, where would you put St Helens in terms of teams? Would they be up there with one of the top teams? There's a big
yeah,
challenge there.
they'd be up with the top 4. Yeah, definitely.
So you're looking to get stuck into them like you did with Warrington and hopefully start a bit better. Is it that the main thing? Is it?
Yeah, definitely. I think with St Helens, we do need to start from the whistle, not 20 minutes in. So the girls are aware of that. We've recapped on Tuesday. Obviously, we are all a bit nervous about going up against such a experienced team that have been together quite a long time compared to us. Our first game together was last Sunday. They've been together for 2-3 years. But for the girls, it's just composure and it's just believing in ourselves and it's just working hard together.
And is the game live anyway? Can the fans watch it?
I don't think it is. I think it's only the 12 o'clock ones that are live on Twitch.
Right. Okay. So if you just go on to now, as an individual, Bethan, what would you say your strengths or weaknesses are as a player?
My weakness is my gob.
So presumably you mean towards a referee rather than your coach and your team.
Yeah. No. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I think my communication is strong. Otherwise, I wouldn't be captain. I can speak to the girls quite clever. You know, I make sure I choose my words right. Try not to upset anybody. So I think definitely that's my strength when I'm on the field and off the field, is the communication with my girls. Weakness, I think sometimes I can just get a little bit ahead of myself on the game, on the field. I think I see something that's not quite there, but I'll get that whilst I'm playing. I'll gain that experience once I've played a little bit more.
What sort of a hooker would you say? Yeah, are you a runner, a passer? I mean, you put yourself about on Sunday, didn't you? You got stuck in with a few tackles. Is that your kind of game, or are you more a distributor than a runner?
Yeah, so I'm very much defence, but I had to save my energy on Sunday to play 80 minutes. So I didn't rag myself around too much. But defence for me, I've always loved defence. I can remember when I played standoff in the Championship, and I was just all over the field defending. And then when it come to the ball work, I had no energy because I'd just made 50 odd tackles as a halfback. So I've tried to control that and try to bring more into my game, into attack now.
Would you agree with that, Ryan, as coach?
Totally agree. Yeah. Me and Bethan have had some good conversations at training and how we can bring Bethan and utilise Bethan as much as possible. Like she said, she's a little bit of a hothead when it comes into the defence, and she wants to tackle the biggest people on the field, what is good. But when you're playing as a hooker at number 9, there's another part of your game. So we've really concentrated on the other part, and that's the distributing and organising the girls around the field and be a leader on that field. And if she's doing X amount of tackles a game and she disappears, she's no good for us. So it was really important for myself and Bethan to really concentrate on that side of Bethan's game. But I think she was really good on Sunday. I thought she was very good. But she played 80 minutes at hooker. She was there every time in that tackle, and she directed and organised us around the field how we wanted it. So yeah, it was a big credit for Bethan, because it's been a long 18 months on it, Bethan, with training. So it was good to see. It was good to see on Bethan's part.
Yeah, and what would you say was the strengths and weaknesses of the team as a whole, apart from obviously the lack of experience and everything? You know, the general strengths and weaknesses. What do you need to work on, and what things are you looking at being a bit better at?
It's strange because I think it's the mental toughness. I think it's the mental toughness of that. Do you know what? We are good enough, and I think it's trying to believe in herself a little bit more. Yes, we are coming up against some big teams. We are coming up against some experienced internationals, England internationals, who are all playing in the World Cup. They've all got a big season ahead of them. and we're all very, like I said, very young and experienced. But I think if we just start believing in ourselves a little bit more and just have a little bit of mental toughness that we can go out and compete. And like we said before, with Bethan's try going over, it sort of lit that spark and said, you know what, we can score at this level. And looking back, the girls have realised, you know what, we can compete, we can defend at this level. The main thing for us now is can we do it consistently against the big teams, and can we do it consistently through the season? But I think, as like I say, as a big weakness for us is the self-belief and the mental toughness. And the strength is the passion. All the girls just want, they're like sponges. They just soak up all the information, and I can't give them enough information to take on board. And I will go through a training, and then we'll finish training, and someone will tap you on your shoulder and go, "What about this?" and "What about that?" and you're there just flooding them with information, and that's massive for me. These girls want to be there. They want to compete at this level, and for me, you won't want any more from your players, to be honest.
No, they've got to want to do it as well, haven't they? And if they're happy to do it and they're happy to get stuck in and to learn, it's all good for you, isn't it?
Yeah, like I say, all this is in their own time, like we said before, and they could walk away from all this, but they want to be there, and they want to be at this level, and they want to progress and develop in Super League.
So, on the team are the ones to watch out for. I know they've all got different roles in the team, but I mean, probably most people have seen Amelia's try and the pace and everything that she's got. And you know, what about her? Is she one for the future, or is she somebody to watch for this season?
Yeah, 100%. Amelia is very good. She's got a very good attitude towards training. And yeah, she's the one she's got a one to watch. I would definitely say Erin as well, who played at fullback.
Yeah.
She's definitely one to watch. She's only very young as well, but she's one for the future. Lilybell Hunter, who played at 13. I'm not really sure what number she played, as in squad number, but she's one for the future as well. Oyen as well came on. Oyen Kadira. She actually picked up a little injury. That's why she unfortunately had to come off. And then obviously you've got your more experience. You've got Frankie, who played at 6, and you've got Bethan, who played at 9 as well. That's your spine there. You've got your 6, your 7, and you've got your fullback as well. So it's your core players and your core strengths in your team. If we can keep them together and keep them working and developing, everything else will just build around that.
Yeah. Bethan, would you go along with that as well?
Yeah, I totally agree.
On the field, what are they like to play with? Are they quiet? Are they sort of gobby like you, or they're normally pretty quiet?
Let's just say they are characters, some of them.
The characters. Do you want to expand on that or not?
I think it's really difficult because some of them are, like Ryan said, 16 years old. They still haven't come out of the shell. Like Amelia is an unbelievable player, and she is the one to watch out for. You never hear her moan, groan, or nothing. She just gets on with it, and she's so quiet. But then as soon as she wants that ball, she's a completely different player.
Yeah.
You know, so on the field, there's a lot of quiet players, but they're quiet at the right times. And then when they need to be loud, they're loud at the right times. I think it's for them players to find themselves as well as players. So I think in a couple of years' time, once they've found themselves, then there'll definitely be some big characters to look out for.
Just going to ask you now about your like the future. Where do you see yourself in the future? What are your aims and you know, your aspirations and everything?
For me, it's just to get better. I want to see the progression. I've definitely seen that over the last 18 months from going from Championship to Super League. I've definitely seen it within myself in my game when I've played. I'd like to see myself with that England shirt. I have been training really, really hard over the last 18 months. I really struggle to gain weight. So as a 9, obviously, you can be a skinny mini, but you've got to have that strength and you've got to have that power. And for myself, I didn't feel comfortable in my size. Felt like I wanted to get bigger, so I'm eating more, I'm training harder. I've been restricted to what I can do due to a shoulder injury. So that stepped me back as well. And so for me, I just want to get bigger, and I want to get better, and I want to be seen.
Right, so you ruled out any World Cup appearance at end of year then, or not?
We'll see if they spot me before then.
Yeah. Ryan, what about yourself? What are you looking at in the future?
We just want to develop. We want to be developing. Our aim, as coaches, we want to be up there and competing at the highest level in the oncoming years. And like I said before, that isn't going to be maybe this season. It may not even be next season, because we've got a very good group to develop, and it's about making sure that everything in the background regarding the community trust and the staff and the girls, that we've got the right people on board to build that and have that foundation, and just build on that foundation and keep going. Who knows where we will go with it. I'd like to see, and we had an interview with Tanya Arnold on the BBC, and she was asking about, do we think money will come into the women's game? I strongly believe it will, and Lisa sort of mentioned a little bit of that before. So it would be nice if we were to start seeing money in the game for the players as well, not just for staff, for players more than anything. These girls are putting a lot of time and effort into playing at the highest level of Women's Super League, and they're all doing it for free. And that's quite tough to keep everyone on board, and like I said, the staff are doing a lot of hours to get everything going. So it would be nice if we were to see the money in the game. That's not just at the Huddersfield Giants, that's to do with all Super League clubs. So yeah, that would be a massive thing for me in the next few years. Hopefully we can progress into that.
Yeah, because I imagine when things aren't going too well, and they're having to go into training and it's cold and wet and miserable and they're not winning games, it can take a lot for them to get downbeat, can't it? So
yeah, well,
they need to have something there, don't they, to keep them going, I suppose.
Yeah, well, last night was a perfect example. We came off the back of a defeat. We turned up to training last night, and it started throwing it down. We had some constructive criticism to the girls of Sunday's game, where we want to work on and what we need to do to go forward. But the girls had a good positive attitude that we went out on that training field last night in the pouring down rain, as a light was coming in, and we finished off that training session last night, and we were soaking to the bone. And you know what? Them girls don't have to do that. And exactly. the staff are stood out there in the rain, and they don't have to do that, but they want to, and that's the main thing. They want to, and as long as they want to, I'll be there to the side of them, doing it with them. Yeah.
And in terms of trade, do you train up at, is it Lawnhill you train at?
Yeah, we're up at the Lawnhill. Yeah, the Huddersfield YMCA Rugby Club, the Lawnhill. Yeah, so we're up there. That's actually our home venue. So when we were to get back playing our home and away fixtures, that's actually where we will be playing. So with it regarding obviously the COVID and the protocols with the COVID, because all the girls are tested and all the staff are tested, we had to be in a secure area. We used to train on Leeds Road playing fields, but we had to move that to go up there. But it's a brilliant facility up there. We're well looked after, and we get on with them. I would like to think quite well. So yeah.
Bethan, you want to say something?
Yeah, just picking up on Ryan regarding obviously players and volunteers getting paid. I think a lot of people, especially like who work with the RFL, who don't really work with the clubs but support them, on how much money us, especially as players, are losing. So I know from experience, I've had to turn down work shifts so I can train or play on the Sundays. So that means I'm losing money by not working. So if I wasn't working but getting paid for the rugby, I wouldn't lose out on that money that I would be gaining from work, but I'm going to be gaining it from the rugby. And also the travel expenses. We have, you probably are aware, a few girls that travel down from the northeast. So they're spending hundreds of pounds a month on petrol. and then we travelled ourselves to Warrington on Sunday using our own money to pay for the petrol to get there. We do that because we want to, but that would be nice when they do start looking into the women's getting paid, that it starts off with them travel expenses and little things like that. If people can't work because of game day, are they going to pay us instead of us working? So I think it's just little things like that that they need to consider when they're thinking about paying these women. Like what are we losing now, but what are we going to gain in the next year or two?
Yeah, you say it's little things, but it's not a little thing, is it? It's a big thing. And if you're playing the game, you should be rewarded for it. And if you're expected to travel and you're expected to do this for, to maintain the integrity of the competition, they should be compensating, shouldn't they? It goes without saying.
I would say, sorry, just to put in this, but
No,
that's how rugby league was formed, wasn't it? In the end of it, rugby was one sport, and the northern clubs, because they were working 7 days a week, couldn't afford to work 7 days a week, so they wanted to be professional, wanted to be paid.
Yeah.
It's interesting how it's sort of repeating itself, and we know what happened. Rugby league was formed, and it's gone on from there. Obviously, we want the same for the women's game as well.
Yeah. But how many people? Sorry, Lisa. I'm just going to say how many people watching the games and everything don't actually realise that they get paid. A lot of people just think they get paid for playing the game, and
I get the question all the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
Exactly.
When I say, I play rugby, or who do you play for? Huddersfield Giants Women's. Do you get paid? No. What do you mean, no? Why don't you get paid? Men get paid, so why don't the women?
Yeah.
And I don't have an answer for them to tell them why we don't get paid. We are all professional. We have to act professional. We have to train like the professionals. So why don't we get paid like the professionals?
Maybe that's something the Supporters Association could take up with the relevant authorities and try and get an answer for you. I don't know if they respond to us, but go on, Lisa, you were saying something.
No, I totally agree where Bethan is coming from, and I think as a trust, we had to make that decision in putting that position there. I mean, I had to fight my corner with pulling money from different areas of the zone to enable us to have a women's team, because as I'm so fortunate that I've got staff that are dedicated to the women's team. We do pay some staff, and we now we've gone into Super League, we have to pay for physiotherapists, we have to pay for a doctor to be there to ensure that we can look after the girls while they're on the pitch. But absolutely they should get at least what they would get if they were working, and they shouldn't have to pay for their own expenses. I know I've just sorted the bus out for Sunday, so hopefully we can go forward and you can get your travel, but they should get food after games, but because of COVID we can't do that. It is very difficult. We're all in a really difficult position after COVID. I'm saying after COVID because I can see a light at the end of the tunnel, and all I can say, Bethan, is I hope and pray, and whatever we have to do to fight our corner to look after you girls, we will do. Whatever is possible, we will act on.
Yeah, I just want to say, if it wasn't for the community trust, we wouldn't be in Super League.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a team.
We wouldn't be where we are now without them. They've supported us massively, more than you can probably realise. But they've helped us out as a club to be able to be Huddersfield Giants Women's. They've helped us out massively to be able to get to where we are today.
Yeah, because like say, without, taking your example, you have to take time off work, or you have to change your shifts or something like that. It might not be suitable. So then when you do get time, maybe to spend with your family and things, and you have to choose between, do I go and play or do I spend time with my family, and this kind of thing. And eventually, if everybody's in that situation, they're going to have no players, are they? So they're no players, no games. So.
That's the thing. I think a lot of us work maybe Monday to Friday, or like for myself, I work weekends. I work during the week and weekends. So my 2 days off are my days where I'll train with the Giants and when I play. Yeah. So for me, I don't actually have a life outside of work or rugby, really. No. Do you know, if I had a family, I'd really struggle. Okay. I'd really struggle, so...
Yeah, go on, Trevor.
If a club like the likes of St Helens come along and spot a good player within the Huddersfield Giants, is there a transfer fee involved, or are they likely to pay a backhander to the player, knowing that she's not getting paid anyway, to encourage her to go over to their side?
We don't have to pay transfer fees. and I wouldn't like to say on the second. I've not experienced any of that. I wouldn't like to comment what other clubs do, but we don't have to pay transfer fees. These girls are free and willing to go to whoever they want to go to. What's a good big credit for our girls to be sticking with us and realising the good things we're doing. So we really appreciate that. So these girls are free to go to whoever they would like to go to play for in Super League. Regarding the second part, I can't comment on that, but it definitely doesn't happen in our club.
I would be absolutely mortified if I found out that was happening.
It would not. It's not happening in our club. So no, and do you know what? We spent a lot of time talking about that, about the money side of things, and that's not what it's about. To be fair, it's about these girls' progression. For me, it's not about how much people get paid, myself or Bethan or anybody else. It's not about that. It's about these girls enjoying rugby league and these girls playing at the highest level possible. And eventually we will get there. Like I said before, it could be next week, it could be in a month, it could be 2 months, it could be whenever that may be. But I think the money side of things isn't relevant for me. It's more about making sure these girls are developing in the best way possible. And if that's it, with training facilities, with the right medical staff on board, ourselves as coaches, making sure we're giving the right programs to develop on that field, and then eventually picking up as results. And as long as that's happening and we're progressing there, for me, that's the main thing. And everything else, hopefully, will just step into place. So
I think as well as it's passion. I think everybody has passion to do well, and nobody wants to let anybody down. I don't want to let the girls down, or my team, my staff, and the girls are the same. They don't want to let people down. We're all in it together, and we will get there. And in the next couple of years, I'm hoping to see really big things, and hopefully a lot more support from the RFL. I think it's just the start for me.
Is there any idea of when you'd be playing at home games, when you can have fans going and watching you?
I think off the top of my head, I think it's mid-July. So we play St Helens this week, then we have a week off, and I think we play Bradford. We have another week off, and then I think we play Wigan, and I think we have another week off, and then we play Warrington again in the league. And then I think after that time, I think it's when all the restrictions for COVID with the government guidelines get lifted. I think the scope is then the league actually gets split into two halves. So if the structure of the Super League is after you've played everybody once, it splits for the top 4 teams go into the Super League Grand Final, and the bottom 6 go to it's called the Shield. So we would like to think that we would like to compete for that Shield. So with the sort of thinking that these first games at the moment where they're played over at Warrington are sort of a little bit as games just to get us head into it and get us game time, get us experience, get us match fitness. And then when we start splitting down into that Shield and that little bit of a knockout, that bottom side, we start coming to us on a little bit, and we start to really look to compete. But like I said, I think that's going to be around about the July time of where it's at the moment.
Yeah, but it'd be nice for you to, if you are doing that, it'd be nice to have some support there, wouldn't it, from Huddersfield fans?
100%.
And being stuck out there on your own, basically.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it would be great. It would be good to see if we could. It's a big venue up at the Lawn Road, so it would be good if we can get that field full all the way around, and it'll be nice. It's nice for the girls. That it'd be nice. It was very strange on Sunday. We played at a really nice venue at Victoria Park, but it was empty. There was just the staff there. There was an empty stand, and their girls' Super League experience. That should have been the most special, like the best special time for them. And unfortunately, there was a few people poking through the fence, and that was about it. So yeah, do you know what? For the girls' sake and for the sport, and we've said, I think we've said this with the men's game, the fans need to return for the sport to, and you know what? To make this experience the best ever for these girls and their development, I think the fans need to be in there as soon as possible.
Yeah. Well, I spoke to Lisa earlier, and one thing we touched on where it may be having like open training sessions where some of the fans can come and meet yourself and some of the girls and just get to know them a bit, because I mean, obviously there's not a lot, I mean, apart from, you know, your own social media and whatever, there's not a lot of publicity out there for you at the moment. So we just thought it might be a good idea, you know, like if you do a training session, an open training session, fans can come down and they can have a chat with the girls and listen to Bethan shouting at people and whatever.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I say, when the restrictions get lifted and we can start, and we can definitely look at that. Like I say, mid-season when we're getting into it a little bit more, we can have an open training session. Come have a watch. Come have a talk to the girls. Listen to me shouting at them. Listen to Bethan shouting at me back and everything else. But yeah, no, 100%. And that, do you know what? That's what we want. We want people like yourselves to back us as much as possible. And like we've been saying all night, this is new for us, and we're starting at the beginning, and we can only grow. And people like yourselves being on board and giving us that support is brilliant, and that's what we really appreciate. That.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll support, you know, what we can. I mean, we're the Supporters Association after all, so it's only right we support.
Yeah.
All arms of the club and all the teams and everything. Bethan, would that be something the girls would be open to, having the fans coming down with watching a training session?
Speaking on behalf of myself, I'd love it.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, would you prefer to do it behind closed doors where they can't see what's going on?
No, I'd really enjoy that, because obviously I was a coach myself a few years back, and I do really enjoy it. And I think it'd be nice for them to see us behind closed doors and not just on the field, like I said, behind closed doors. I think they'll be able to understand us as a team when we were training and get to know a few of us. And then obviously when they do come to games and we see them, we can speak to them rather than just walking past them and not knowing who anybody is, apart from his own parents or our supporters that we've brought. So I think it would definitely benefit us and supporters if we did something like that.
Yeah, well, if you get in touch with us, let us know when that could be feasibly happen, and we'll arrange something. We'll try and get people up there and watch and come and meet you. Yeah.
Just to give you a bit of a laugh, I had a meeting today with Robin, who was our cheerleading manager and coach, and she said, "Do you think the girls would like some cheerleaders at one of the games?" I said, "Absolutely! What a great idea!" So
I know two of them. I know two of the cheerleaders. I work with two of them.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So that'd be really good, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
to sort of
definitely
celebrate maybe our first game where we can have people coming through the gates and make a real big marketing story to get us out there.
Yeah, Big G.
Yeah. Trevor would be up for that as well, I think.
Yeah.
Trevor would be
I love Big G, does Trevor?
You want that for Trevor?
I won't need a mask.
I don't need a mask.
Just see Trevor in one of them little cheerleaders outfit with pom-poms. Chasing people.
Don't push it till you've tried it.
I don't want to see Trevor's pom-poms.
No, yeah.
I reckon he might surprise you. That'd be really good.
Right. Last.
Can I just?
Has anybody got any more questions?
Yeah, I've got a
go
couple
for it.
if you don't mind. You're talking about getting exposure for the team and the women's game, and it's a standalone sport on its own. It's not with the men's. I won't call it a curtain raiser. I think we should be doing double headers down at John Smith's. I think that's the way to get the team out there and pick up sponsorship for your, moving forward. I know quite a few folk that's put some little money into the trust through Leeds and through a BNI network in Leeds, and I'm sure if you get people down there, first team games, see the product, I'm sure people are willing to get behind that. I just thought your thoughts on that, Ryan.
100%, yeah. Especially if we could probably match it with the men's fixture as well. So, for example, if the men was playing Warrington, we would have our fixture against Warrington ladies as well. And it goes back again to, it would be good for the girls as well as the fans and everything else. It would be good for them and their experience, and it would be really good. And I totally agree. Where if that is possible to happen, that's definitely something what we would jump all over that, definitely.
Because I think the product's fantastic. Because I don't know if anyone's seen the State of Origins down under.
Yeah.
The standard is fantastic, and I'm sure it stands alone, and it should be a standalone sport, and I think we should get behind that.
Yeah.
Just before COVID hit, we did have it on the cards to have a double header, curtain raiser, as they say, but obviously those plans fell through. So it has been mentioned, and we have looked into it with Richard Thewlis. So we did get there, but obviously it didn't happen. But I do see in the future it could.
We also had last season before the COVID hit. We did have the players being announced at half time as well. So coming out of the tunnel at half time and being announced, obviously the Super League squad. So and watching the game and having the day out sort of thing as the girls. And like I said, it's all these little things where we'll try to get the experience and make them feel like Super League players, to be fair, and rightly so.
Can I just have one last question for you, Ryan?
Of course, can you?
You've got a very young squad. You've got 16, 17-year-old girls in there. Have you got a big enough squad to rotate them so that if the games aren't going well, they're not going to last 80 minutes week in, week out? Have you got a squad where you can rotate them so it's not bit?
We've got a squad. Yeah, a squad is full. We've got a squad is full up to us max. We are you're absolutely right with what you're saying. We cannot play these girls for 80 minutes week in, week out, and we have to manage their game time really well and carefully. We have to. Do you know what? It's not just this. It's not just the younger ones. With these girls not played for so long, we have to manage everybody's game time, and this goes back to the results. It doesn't really matter. It goes to these girls' development, and we will manage injuries. We will manage the age, the physicality side of everything, to make sure that. And another thing, we have to manage holidays, because these girls aren't full time, like we've said. These girls have holidays. They have their own lives, so we have to manage all that. So yes, a squad is big. His injury list is quite heavy at the moment, unfortunately. But like I said, we've got the right people on board to manage that. And yeah, so yeah, it's definitely something we have to take in consideration massively. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you,
Martin. Were you wanting to ask something?
Hey.
Yeah, I thought you said it. No, it don't matter. I thought you did. Right, just finally then, Ryan and Bethan, if you've got a message to the fans or to the public, what would it be? If you're trying to encourage people to come along, watch it and everything like that, what would your message to the fans be?
Go on, Ryan.
Go on, Bethan.
Oh, all right.
Don't let me choose.
I'll go first. I was going to say, if you've not watched us, come, because you will be surprised.
Fair enough. Ryan?
I totally agree with Bethan. Come watch us, and you'll be very surprised at how much effort and passion these girls give to the game and to the sport. And come and enjoy the occasion. Come and enjoy the day. Come enjoy the game day. Come and enjoy the training sessions when they're opening. Have it as a day out, like you would with going watching the men. Go and have it as a day out. Come and watch us. Show your support, and you know what? The girls will thank the supporters for that, definitely. But it's mainly come and enjoy yourself. Come and enjoy yourself and get behind these girls and give them the credit where they're due. Give them a pat on the back, give them a clap, because these girls are doing brilliant at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah, brilliant. Right, so we'll wrap that up then. So I'd like to thank you both, Ryan and Bethan, for giving your time up. And yeah, thank you.
No worries. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, and wish you all the best for Sunday and the rest of the season, and hopefully we'll see you in the not too distant future.
Yeah, definitely.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Bye.
Yes.
Take care. Bye.